We are joined by Mr. Ritesh Bhatia. He is the founder of B4Web, cybercrime investigator and a consultant. Thank you, Mr. Ritesh Bhatia, for joining us at the program.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting.
So, my first question to you is that the parliamentary report of 2022 says that 48,000 cases of cybersecurity incidents were reported when it comes to government agencies. How do you see this? How huge this issue is in our country right now?
I think firstly the number of cases that you're telling me, it looks like they're lesser than what they should have been, because then there are many more. So the thing is, and coming to the seriousness of this is pretty serious, and it is just not the companies, not just the government. It is also about the private organizations as well as individuals. If you would see, off lately, a lot of attacks have been happening, and whenever there is some kind of tensions between like two countries, that time it's pretty natural that these attacks increase. Now we all know that everything is like related to cyber war. Gone are the traditional methods of war, and we've already seen the damages that have been done. In fact, just last week itself, Gujarat Mining Development Corporation, I mean, that was infected with a ransomware. And if you see that a demand of 4 crores was made to them. Now, what has happened later, we don't know. Same thing has happened with AIMS also, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, but we don't know whether some certain demand was made or not made. Again, after some time, another medical, I think it was the Health Ministry website, which was attacked off lately 3 days back. I think it was on Good Friday, when the Kochi airport and many other airports websites, they were trying to bring it down. And I think they were successful in bringing down Kochi Airport's website, if I'm not mistaken. So the thing is that these are increasing, they are worrisome, and cybersecurity cannot be an afterthought for it.
Uh, what do you think? Where does India stand compared to other countries when it comes to severity and frequency of such cases?
It's not like that, that our country is weaker compared to the neighboring country or even to highly developed nations. It's nothing like that. But yeah, what I see is, as far as the critical infrastructure is concerned, when I'm talking about, let's say, nuclear plants and electricity grids and all, and our telecom guys, their cybersecurity is taken pretty seriously. But all these other ones, other organizations are not taking it as seriously. So to give you an analogy, if I'll tell you, like even in corporates, if you look at the large corporates which are into banking, finance, the BFSI sector, they're taking it very, very seriously compared to these other sectors. Now the pharma is also taking it pretty seriously as such. Banking will take it pretty seriously. But then if I have to look at FMCG, they might not take it as seriously. But yet, if they're, these private organizations, yes, they understand that now it is just not about a ransomware or anything. It is also about their reputation. So they have also started taking it extremely seriously. But what happens about the medium businesses? They are neither regulated, and then there is nothing like that. That certain regulations are there. But as far as again the government ones are concerned, the critical infrastructure, yes, it's well protected, but the other ones also have to get pretty serious about it. Whatever regulations, the cyber regulations we are applying on these private companies should also be applicable to these government organizations, whether they are small or big.
When you say they, like some companies are taking it seriously, what does it exactly mean? Do they take any particular action?
Yeah, so it is not about action. It is firstly about their prevention. It is also about their preparedness response. They have an incident response mechanism, but before an incident happens, the kind of investments they do, the kind of audits these large organizations do, is like is it's quite good, you know. So whether it is about patch management, which means, you know, you need to update your browsers, you need to update a software and operating system or your mobile, these people will go about it. They will do certain things called as like threat hunting. That you know, if there is any new threat coming, they will go after it and they will see if it can impact their organization. So what I'm trying to say is that these organizations are much proactive in terms of its process, and also in terms of the technology that they are using or the tools that they are using. They also like invest a lot of time in awareness for their employees. Every new product that's developed, or even if they will do a small change, let's say, you know, on the net banking platform or on their website, anything which has got a login password or is having a critical data, they will test it thoroughly. You know, so something that we call as VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. They will also go for the testing of these processes or the products, and very periodic testing of their networks and several such things, irrespective of, like, you know, whether the regulator is asking or not. So such kind of proactiveness is somewhere I feel by and large missing in the government domain. It is there, as I told you earlier. Also, it is there on like you know, on the absolute critical infrastructure. But then again, we saw what happened at Ames. It's high time that, you know, you need to identify Ames also as a critical infrastructure. In fact, any of these institutions which can like kind of stop your medical services or your telecom or like BSNL, it's government owned, and you know, this needs to be, it is a critical infrastructure. So same way, all your other things, even whether it's a municipal corporation, what if the pipeline is hacked? Like, you know, we saw something similar happening in US in a colonial pipeline attack that happened. Of course, our pipelines are not so much controlled, but a time will come. What if your metros are attacked as such? So, what is the kind of incident preparedness we have? What is the kind of prevention we have taken? So, there are several things. So, we need to identify what will come under critical infrastructure. And even if it's not under critical infrastructure, how secure it is, and uh, what is our preparedness. Because, you know, the way cybercrimes are going ahead, these guys are technically, because that's their job, that's their income, right? So they are just excelling every day, they're just getting better and better. Okay, but what about us? Are we getting better and better? We are actually focused on our work, and they are focused on their work of attacking us. So they are just getting better and better, and that's the reason we, you know, the chances are very, very high, close to 100%, that you will be hacked.
We will be hacked, but what about the aftermath? Like, does the government or the police authorities are like proactive enough to arrest the culprit, because the crimes are interstate, they are across the border. So what is the response
Yeah.
like in the aftermath?
So let's talk about, like, you know, three different scenarios. Here is a scenario of an individual, because you're talking about an interstate, the police and the interstate. So these are all those scams that are happening from interiors of India. You know, we all know about Mewat and Mathura and Jamtara, West Bengal, Odisha. From here, the crimes are like originating, but these are more individual centric. You know, they'll say, okay, uh, they will ask you to install some remote access app. They would want to, you have called them to book certain, let's say, you know, for certain refund or some customer care, or you know, so all these frauds that are happening from India as such. So over here, if you see, yes, there are several issues, because number one, jurisdiction is definitely an issue. But the second thing is, most of these are mule accounts. So what are mule accounts? These fraudsters have taken somebody, let's say some auto rickshaw person or some bhajiwalas, vegetable vendors, Aadhaar and PAN, and now he's operating that account. And this fellow is getting, let's say, certain commission, or maybe he's not even aware. Maybe you're not aware that your Aadhaar and PAN, you know, is being misused, and a bank account is opened, and all the money from victims is being, you know, credited over there. Probably even you're not aware. It's just the hacker, the fraudster who's aware about it. So the mule accounts is one particular issue. Jurisdiction is another issue. Other thing is the network operators. So these guys have like thousands of SIM cards with them. They make one call, then they throw the SIM card. Then they make another call, then so they reuse it after quite a later point of time. So it becomes very, very difficult for the police. And but then also the number of crimes that are the number of victims that we are having by the hour is so much that the policeman will have to be outside the police station, and I mean outside his own state also. He'll have to be, okay, now what's next? Where do I have to go next? Do I have to go to Bengal? Do I have to go to Odisha? So this is why the systems of zero FIRs and no jurisdiction or dedicated cyber police stations without the jurisdiction issues should be there. I think that will help a lot. The other initiative of the Ministry of Home Affairs of having 1930 as a number in case if you're a victim to a financial fraud has really helped quite a lot. So the moment you're a victim, and you lost your money, so there is this golden hour which ideally for us is the golden half an hour, the 30 minutes. But even if you go to them within an hour or two, in some cases even if they've gone after 2 days also, the police has been able to recover the money for them. But we need to understand that we immediately need to dial that 1930. So the police has been effective as far as this particular thing is concerned, not if completely, but yes, I know several victims who really got their money back. So now, so this is one category out of the three categories. The second category now that I'm talking to you about, the hackers who are outside the country. Now these are organized gangs. Now whether there is something called as romance scam, then there is something called as the business email compromise scams. There are several such scams that are happening where the money is just going outside. And for example, like one scenario, I have to make a payment to somebody, to my vendor, and I get an email. Again, I get an email from my vendor. No, don't pay in this account, pay it in that account. I will go and pay in the other account. Now, when I speak to my vendor, vendor says, listen, I never sent you such an email. So this is called as a business email compromise scam. Now, this business email compromise scam is very, very organized. Most of these are originating from Nigeria as such. So again, if you see over here, there are issues. You will, need to invoke MLAT and several such kind of things. So here again, the cyber cops of all across the world, the cyber police departments across all countries have to come together to help out each other. So that's the second part. The third and the last category I was talking to you is about the state sponsored attacks. Now this is nothing that you can do much about it, because if you I was talking to you about the airport case, what really happened over there. In the airport case, they said, okay, the kind of treatment you're giving out to the one particular group of minorities, we don't like it, so they attacked us. So there is a lot that happens. So whenever, as I told you, some political issues there, or somebody's made some statement with some other communities not liked, or some other countries not liked, we see an increase in the attacks at that point of time. And there's nothing much that the cops can do for that particular part.
As a cybercrime investigator, I would really like to know an important case study from you, which you think is very important for people to know. It's very important that when it comes to protection of data or government agencies like the AIMS case. So what do you think? Which is the case you would like to
So
mention?
okay, so then there are several cases, because we got almost like 70, 80 kind of categories itself. So there are some cases particularly related to children. There are some cases related only and only to men. There are some with women. There are some with companies. There are some with businesses. But if people have to understand, I will tell you one thing. A particular cases. Let's say you are stuck on the highway somewhere, and your car is moving, and if you're going to try to Google out for a particular mechanic, or if you're going to Google for, let's say, a car battery, a particular organization's, a company, a brand's car battery. the numbers that you might see, most likely they are going to be fake. For example, or just day before yesterday, something happened that a lady was looking for a particular number on for a hospital. She wanted an appointment for a doctor in a very, very big hospital in Mumbai. She Googled that particular organization's name. The number that came up was a fake number. Now they called up, they said, okay, just pay 10 rupees. So, she just, there was a form, she made the payment and all. Then the next day she got a call again that, look, we've not got this money. Share your information by this particular. They asked her to download an app, which is like quick support app or Droid Air or AnyDesk. There are several such apps which take the remote, access of your device, including your mobile. So, and with that, they made her do few things. They were able to see her MPIN. They were able to, or the credit card details, or the OTPs and everything. And she lost lakhs of rupees. So that way, there will be several case studies. But then, what's the solution? Because recently, did you know, like 2 years back, we were getting messages that that your KYC is not done of the bank, and your bank account will be frozen, or the KYC of your mobile will be needs to be done. If you don't do it by today, your mobile won't work, and you would panic and call. Now we all know that's fake. There came another modus operandi that by tonight 9:30 your electricity will be disconnected. Right? We got all some. So tomorrow, what is going to happen? We don't know. That will be another new case. So what's the solution? Because for every case, if you're going to understand the modus operandi and do it, then by the time you learn this one, as I told you, the hackers are much ahead than us. They will come up with a newer modus operandi, a new such kind of a type of a scam. And hence, remember one thing, that trust, anonymity, and privacy. This is like a myth on the internet. Okay, you just can't trust anyone. If you think somebody's anonymous, no. Even by being anonymous, you want to like bully women, or you want to troll people and other things that you think you won't be caught. Sorry, you'll be caught. And as far as privacy is concerned, that's honestly a myth on the internet, because our information is available everywhere. In fact, in most of the cases, if you go and look at your mobile phone, and you go and look at the permissions that we've granted, you'll be able to see that the permission granted to microphone, at least 40 apps will be having permissions to your microphone, which means all the time that you're discussing certain things, these 40 apps are able to hear what you're talking. Why do you think you're getting ads in that case, even if you've not Googled about it? So we need to revoke these permissions. And the solution to all these things is zero trust. As I told you, trust, anonymity, and privacy is a myth. So what do I mean? Start with the first component, the trust. No, on the internet, it is going to be zero trust. Like, I don't know if I am talking to Pavitra, right? You sent me an email and all, but how do I know? It could be some another girl, and she could be pretending to be Pavitra. So Pavitra, what we need to see is that whatever we see on the internet, whether it's a number, whether it's an email, whatever it is, treat it as if that I don't trust it. And I'm not saying everything. Anything that's very sensitive, like you look at a number because you're going to call, so that becomes a little sensitive part of it. So, I mean, you're going to call because you want a refund or you want to book something. So it is sensitive. And hence you will go with the concept of zero trust, which means this number could be fake. Okay. And then we will say, okay, let's verify it. We got to verify it, whether is the person right or wrong, is this number fake or not fake. So if we are going to practice the pause, that the moment we see something, like let's say something comes on Instagram, your account has been blocked because of violation of some copyright issues. Now this is something that's trending. I mean, most of the people's accounts are getting hacked, many people, especially influencers. Pause, just practice the pause, hold on for a while. Okay, close everything, restart your app, and see if everything is good, it's fine. Check out, go with the, I mean, say it's fake, so that's zero trust. Because you paused, you were able to say, okay, this could be fake. You went and you saw. It stays Instagram support, but the handle is something else. Okay, so which means it was a zero trust, and that's why we verified. So if we go with this concept, then for any sort of crime, whether somebody says your electricity is going to go and all, we'll pause. Maybe we will say this is fake, and we will call up the Adani customer care. In our case in Bombay, in this part we have Adani. So I would call up Adani customer care. You might call up your Bijli Vibhag and ask them, what is this like? They'll say, sorry, it's fake. So, this kind of, that's it. That's all we need to do, nothing more than this.